it that way. I'm not allowed to speak for the committee or for anybody else, just myself. I've been saying for some months that we've had relative steadiness in the job market, in my view. The strongest thing in the economy is not AI data center investment, has been consumer spending being solid in a kind of a broad-based way in the economy. But the inflation hasn't been ideal. It's at least stalled out at kind of 3%, and some of the latest measures, the inflation disturbingly high in non-tariff categories like services. I think we're still basically in that same spot. I remain hopeful / expecting that conditions will improve, that we'll start to see some progress on inflation, head us back to 2%, and by the end of this year, that we would be in a situation that we could commence our march back down to something like the settling point, which is below where we are today. But each time we add an uncertainty, I think the job market characterized by low hiring simultaneously with low layoffs is a weird combination. And when I talk to business people out in the Midwest, they characterize it because of the uncertainty. So as we get more uncertainties, I kind of think the time at which it makes sense to act keeps getting pushed back. I always say the first rule of the data dogs is to recognize there's a time for sniffing and there's a time for walking. And when there's uncertainty and you're getting conflicting data points, that's the time for sniffing.
I'm sure everyone out there is very glad to hear you bring back the data dogs. It's been a while since we've heard that. Speaking of data dogs, one dog that is barking very loudly right now is oil prices, but the Fed tends to look through that.
Yes. I mean, as with any supply side shock, it can lead you in a stagflationary direction, which is to say the inflation side of the mandate getting worse at the same time the employment side of the mandate is getting worse. And that's always the worst case scenario for the central bank, because there's not an obvious monetary policy answer to a stagflationary shock. Oil prices going up, we need to think about, is this a transitory thing that's going to be temporary? Is this going to be long-lived? How big will it be? How long will it last? And how is it affecting the supply chain before we can really say anything about it?
I would assume that you would assume that March 18th is not going to see any kind of rate move because there's still too much uncertainty. Do you think you would have enough data by April to even make a decision one way or another?
You know that I don't like, and you assume that I assume. I don't know.
What would a data dog do?
You know, I don't like tying our hands ahead of the meetings. I want to hear what my colleagues have to say. I want to get as much information as possible, especially at moments like this where we're getting conflicting pieces of information. But you've been there. It's the biggest table that I've ever seen in my life in that FOMC room. So there's plenty of room for everything to be on the table at every meeting. So I'm not going to rule anything out.
We are, from the data that we already have, and other Fed officials have said this, expecting a bad PCE number. Are you still thinking of that PCE inflation as residual tariff as opposed to an underlying fundamental problem with inflation?
Maybe a little of both. I mean, that's why I've been uncertain and highlighting the inflation numbers. There's been some encouraging signs in inflation. Housing inflation has come down a lot and is likely to continue to come down. We had the run-up of goods inflation. That, I think a lot of it is tied to tariffs, and we're still trying to sort out, is there more to come, or is that basically all there was with tariffs and then it'll go away? But there's also been a kind of a disturbing persistence of services inflation, which I don't think you can attribute to tariffs, because the tariff content of the services industry is not very high. So we'll have to see what the PCE number says. The Open Market Committee has said we watch PCE inflation. That's in our framework review. That's the best measure that we have of inflation, I think. And if it comes in hot and it's just goods, I would be more comfortable saying that looks more like a tariff-driven thing, and that's the optimist case maybe, that it would prove transitory. If it comes in hot, but it's heavily on healthcare, a bunch of service sector industries, that's a different kettle of fish, and that's a little more, feels a little more persistent.
A sentiment question, the sentiment you get not just from CEOs, but also from just talking to regular people in your district. You've got a situation where people are seeing gas prices go up and up and up. And now you have a really bad employment report at a time when people have already said they're worried about losing their jobs. Are you concerned that this could tip us into the stagflationary environment? I don't want to say recession yet, but could cause people to pull back?
It might cause people to pull back. The last 5 to 8 years, however, there's been a breaking of the link between consumer sentiment and actual consumer spending. For some reasons we understand and some reasons we don't understand. So if you saw deterioration of consumer sentiment as, say, gas prices go up, which historically when gas prices go up, consumer sentiment goes down. If that did not translate into a slowing of consumer spending, I would be much less nervous. As I've highlighted, in 2025, the strongest thing that we have going for us was not AI data center investment. Yeah, that was great, but the main thing driving growth was a strong, stable consumer, broad-based spending, which drove growth in the country. And that still continues until it doesn't. So if sentiment deteriorated, and there's a lot of concern as I'm going around the Midwest and the Chicago Fed district, a lot of expression of concern about affordability, about costs on both the business side and the consumer side. If people begin to be nervous about their employment, historically that tends to show up as they're trying to build a little precautionary buffer.
AKA people gonna stop spending money.
Would start to rise. That'd be a thing to watch out for.
Let's end on a little bit of a positive note here. Productivity down from the third quarter, but still 2.8% for the fourth quarter. That's got to be something that makes you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, all of our inner economists are getting a little bit of a warm glow. Productivity growth is what makes us rich. Incomes can go up. Wages can grow faster without inflation if productivity growth is going to remain high like this. So I don't think that the adoption of AI has been big enough to explain that number completely. So I think there actually might be even some more running room to go with the productivity.
Austin Goolsbee, thank you very much. We'll have you back and have a Name the Data Dogs contest or something like that. President of the Chicago Fed. We'll send it back to you.
All right.
Well, chat, it's a lot going on this morning. A lot of jobs lost in February. And man, we got a war going on. It's a lot of stuff going on. But the main thing that I'm concerned about right now is they switched up this streaming service, my back office, and I'm trying to get used to the new areas where they moved it, because, you know, once you do this every day, you get a muscle memory on where everything is. Now they have changed it up. So with them changing it up, it's going to take me a little bit of time, you know, to go through all these things to find out exactly where everything is. But we still going to rock it, chat. And I think it's better like this, though. I think it's a whole lot better. Yeah, I think it's a whole lot better. So what's up, chat? I appreciate y'all for joining me. We got 67 people in the building. Appreciate y'all for joining me. Appreciate y'all for joining me. We got 14 likes. I'm your host, the one and only Stock Sniper, and it's a lot going on, chat. It's a lot going on in the world. The revised job numbers just came out. and we had 67. Let me relook. Hold on, chat. 92,000 jobs lost in February. So it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. They are concerned. As we know, the war in Iran is heating up. So as it heats up, these gas prices are going to go up. These fuel prices are going to go up. And that's going to just lead to more of the things that we buy in the store of going up. They're concerned, if you heard that, they're concerned that we're going to start spending less money, which we should be doing that anyway. But they're concerned because when they say economy, that's AKA the people that's spending money. The people that spend the money, which is us, the foundation. If we don't spend no money, there's no growth. You know what I'm saying? As far as what these billionaires are taking in. And that's what that means. So at this time, you know, I think that we should be paying attention to what's going on, for one, and then also making sure you're not blowing your money on things that really don't matter, because we don't know what's going to happen with this Iran war, you know, and how long it's going to last, because in my opinion, they're going to put boots on the ground, and that's just what it is. And then China, right? China gets majority of their oil from, number one, Venezuela, and number two, Iran. So it's a lot going on. You know, whatever the president got planned, you know, it seems like to me like he's trying to starve China out. You know, he's trying to get China intact. And guess what? China is going to give some pushback sooner or later. Sooner or later, just like our gas prices going up like that, sooner or later, they're going to start feeling the effects of it, because they already can't get the oil ships are basically shut down right now because of what's going on in Iran, and it's getting worse. So let's go over here, chat. We're going to see what the president is going to say. I think this was yesterday or last night. I didn't get to watch this, so we're watching this together in real time. What's up, chat? What's up, chat? Appreciate y'all for joining me. I'm your host, the one on the Stock Sniper, and guess what? I'm back in the office. I got so comfortable with doing these lives in my chill spot that, you know, now I'm back in the office. If y'all been rocking with the channel for a while, you already know this setup. And guess what? Let's keep on going, chat. Let's see what the president has to say. Let's go.
A lot of them here today, too many to introduce. A lot of them are political champions, and we don't care about them today, right? Right, Duffy? But we have, most importantly, wonderful people that love our country. And before we begin, I think I will say a few words about
Drop
what's
a
going
comment.
on.
Let me know what you think about all this,
operation
chat.
in
Drop a comment.
the country of Iran. The United States military, together with the wonderful Israeli partners, continues to totally demolish the enemy far ahead of schedule and at levels that people have never seen before, actually. We're destroying more of Iran's missiles and drone capability every single hour, knocking them out like nobody thought was possible. As soon as they set off a missile, within 4 minutes, the launcher gets hit. They don't know what's happening. But we have the greatest military anywhere in the world. Their Navy is gone. 24 ships in 3 days. That's a lot of ships. Their anti-aircraft weapons are gone. So they have no air force. They have no air defense. All of their airplanes are gone. Their communications are gone. Missiles are gone. Launches are gone. About 60% and 64% respectively. Other than that, they're doing quite well. I said, what's left? But they're tough, and they want to fight. And they're calling, they're saying, how do we make a deal? I said, you're being a little bit late, and we want to fight now more than they do. We've had 47 years, depending on the way you count it, but 47 years of horror with this group. And, when you see somebody walking down the street without their legs, without the arms, whose face is so badly affected and hurt, it mostly came from 95% Soleimani and Iran. And we, other presidents, lived with it. I didn't live with it. And so our people are doing a great job. Again, the greatest military anyone's seen. Thank you. Thank you very much. And yesterday, my administration announced decisive action to help keep down the oil prices, including offering political risk insurance for tankers transiting into the Gulf, as you know, pretty dangerous territory. Further action to reduce pressure on oil is imminent, and the oil seems to have pretty much stabilized. We had it very low, but I had to take this little detour, if it's okay with everybody. Scott, it's okay with you? Scott's the one who has to put up with it. He said, you have to do this now? I said, I have to do it, Scott, right? But it's been very strong, and everybody, including Scott, everybody feels we had really no choice. They were going to hit us if we didn't hit them, because they're crazy. And in the long term, the actions we're taking will dramatically increase the stability of the region and oil prices and stock markets and everything else. We set the all-time record in history with the Dow going to 50,000. So Dow is at 50,000. It was supposed to be maybe, if we were lucky, within by the end of my presidency in 4 years. And we did it in my first year. We did the S&P 500. We did that in a period of less than a year. And that was even tougher than the Dow, they said, so it wasn't going to happen. But we have a great country. We have a country that's never done this well. We've had tremendous success in so many different ways. I built the military and rebuilt it in my first term, and we're using it more than I'd like to use it, to be honest with you. But when we used it, we found out it certainly did work. When we look at Venezuela, when we look at the first attack, Midnight Hammer, in Iran, which really set the stage for what we're doing right now. It's been pretty amazing. And I'm once again calling on all members of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, the military and the police, to lay down their arms. They're only going to be killed. And now is the time to stand up for the Iranian people and help take back your country. You're going to have a chance after all these years to take back your country. Accept immunity. We'll give you immunity. And we'll be giving you really the right side of history, because that's what it is. So you'll be perfectly safe with total immunity, or you'll face absolutely guaranteed death. And I don't want to see that. They don't want to see it either. We also urge Iranian diplomats around the world to request asylum and to help us shape a new and better Iran with great potential. It's a country with great potential. There's much better future for Iran. It's now beginning. It's going to be, I think, a great future. And the United States will ensure that whoever leads the country next, Iran will not threaten America or its neighbors, Israel, anybody. If you look at what happened, they had missiles aimed at all of these other countries, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, many others, that weren't really involved very much, and they had missiles aimed. Well, they were aimed there long before this ever started. They were going after the entire Middle East, and then we came along. We blew up their party. So we have phenomenal people. I want to thank all of the people that have been involved. Marco, you've been doing a fantastic job. And you've been doing a fantastic job on a place called Cuba. And A-Rod came in before. I said, hey, do you want to come up to a little award? He's gone to plenty of award ceremonies. Thank you, A-Rod. Big fan. But what's happening with Cuba is amazing. And we think that we want to finish this one first, but that will be just a question of time before you and a lot of unbelievable people are going to be going back to Cuba. Hopefully not to stay. We want you back, and we don't want to lose you. We don't want to make it so nice that they stay. But some people probably do want to stay. They love Cuba so much. I hear it all the time. That was another one that wasn't supposed to happen. Venezuela is going great. It's been stabilized. We have a wonderful person as your president-elect, Delcy Rodriguez, and she and her staff have been doing a fantastic job working with us. We're taking out hundreds of millions of barrels of oil, and it's going to Houston and various other places where it's being refined, and we're sending them back far more money than they've made in many years, and actually very shortly it'll be more money than they've ever made. And Venezuela is working. So we've had a lot of countries in places that truly love, you would say football, I would say soccer, but these are all countries that love football/soccer. And so I think the group likes it. And if you'd like, you could sit. I know I'm a very exciting speaker, but you can sit down if you'd like, okay? I'm looking at everybody standing. I'm saying, let's sit down. Because we're here to honor these great champions, and we want to take our time, right? Let's get to the reason that we're here, and it's a beautiful reason because we're honoring truly talented people. Today we're thrilled to host the 2025 MLS Cup champions, Inter Miami. Great job. And it's my distinct privilege to say what no American president has ever had the chance to say before. Welcome to the White House, Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi is, my son said, Dad, you know who's going to be there today? And I said, no, I got a lot of things going on. He said, Messi. I said, really? He's a big fan. He's a big fan of yours. He thinks you're just a great person, and I think you got to meet a little while. So he's a big soccer fan, but he's a tremendous fan of yours, and a gentleman named Ronaldo. We have Cristiano is great. You're great. Boy, some big champions, some great athletes in that sport, and people that really love what they're doing, and they're doing it well. And it's an honor for us and everybody at the White House to be honoring you today. So congratulations as well to co-owners Jorge and Jose Mas. Who came from Cuba, right? Originally from Cuba? Huh? Your parents came? And you're going to go back, oh, yeah. It's going to be, and you won't need my approval. You just fly back in when I can just see that. It's going to be a great day, right? We're going to celebrate that separately. I just want to wait a couple of weeks. I wanted to wait a couple of weeks, but we'll be together again soon, I suspect, celebrating what's going on in Cuba. They want to make a deal so badly, you have no idea. As well as head coach, who I hear is a phenomenal coach, Javier Mascherano. Where's the coach? I've heard he's a great coach. Well, anybody who wins is a good coach in my book, but I heard you're a hell of a coach. And all of the tremendous players that are just amazing. We're also grateful to be joined by the MLS Commissioner, Don Garber. Don, where are you, Don? Stand up, Don. Good job. Good job. As well as proud Miami sports fan, Secretary of State. I'm telling you, he's going to go down as the best Secretary of State in the country's history, Marco Rubio. I don't want him to get too popular. It's true. I don't want him to get too popular. You know, when they get too popular, all of a sudden you see, where's Marco? He's not around anymore. I don't see him. He's doing some job, and your next one is going to be, we want to do that special Cuba. He's waiting, but he says, let's get this one finished first. We could do them all at the same time, but bad things happen. If you watch countries over the years, you do them all too fast, bad things happen. We're not going to let anything bad happen to this country. Also with us are Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's a terrific person and fan. And she's proving how tough she is, and I think the next 3 years she's going to really prove it, right? Huh? Like these people. Secretary Scott Bessent, Lori Chavez de Rima, and Sean Duffy. Thank you, everybody. What a great team. And U.S. Trade Representative who's done incredible deals, unbelievable, Jamieson Greer. Thank you, Jamieson Greer. And our country has never been bigger, better, richer, or stronger, and the deals we're making are unbelievable. And a lot of it's because of the tariffs, and a lot of it's because of everything else. We had a little complicating factor with tariffs the other day with the Supreme Court. They did the wrong thing, but it didn't make any difference because we have another way of doing it. They always have to make it the hard way. Do you know about that? You always have to. Is it like that? It's always got to be the difficult way, right? A little bit. Huh? Makes you work harder, right? But we're doing great. Our country is doing incredibly well. It's never done like this. I was with the King of Saudi Arabia. He said, a year and a half ago, we thought your country was dead, would never come back. And now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world, which was sort of cool. I'll relate that story. But many leaders say the same thing. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world. 2025 was the record-shattering season for Inter Miami beginning last summer at the historic FIFA Club World Cup, hosted for the first time right here in the USA. So exciting. I shouldn't say this because you'll say I'm old, but I watched Pelé play. He played for the Cosmos. Do you know that? And Steve Ross was a great friend. I don't know how many people remember Steve. He was a legendary businessman. He really started cable TV. He was way ahead of time and ultimately passed away tragically. But he started the Cosmos team and he wanted to get some good players. So he started with Pelé. I don't know, you may be better than Pelé. Pelé was pretty good. Who's better, him or Pelé? Messi. I agree. I think he is. But he was pretty good, right? Pelé was pretty good. But it was very exciting, and I went to the games. I'd go every once in a while, but soccer just didn't catch on. And then when Steve got ill, it sort of went away, and then it came back, and now it's just turning out to be amazing how it's coming back in this country. But the Cosmos were a very hot team, playing with other teams that weren't so good. But I got to watch Pelé play, and he was something too. In the June group stage of that tournament, these players went toe-to-toe with some of the best teams anywhere in the world. You tied Egypt's best club, supposed to be an unbelievable, talented club, with a gutsy performance from veteran goalie Oscar Ostari, who played a great game. Then you tied the top Brazilian club, wow, thanks to a brilliant goal from one of the greatest strikers of all time, Luis Suarez. Was he... These are good-looking people. Marco, I don't like good-looking men. You don't feel so good about yourself standing up here. Good-looking people. In the 65th minute, Louis gathered the ball around midfield and turned for a vintage solo run, dribbling through the defense, driving past defenders like few people have ever seen before, cutting to his left, hammering home a goal that secured Miami's place in the next round. But no match in the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup was more important than the match against FC Porto. Porto took an early lead, but you came back strong in the 54th minute, tied 1-1. Leo lined up for one of his iconic free kicks. He struck the ball decisively, bending it over the wall and beating the keeper with a sensational left hook. Would I be able to do that if I practiced? He said, no, I think he's right, my friend. Great. In that moment, you sealed a truly historic Inter Miami victory, becoming the first club from North America ever to beat a European club in official competition. Unbelievable. You know, I have to just interject. So, over the years, I love sports, and I've watched my friend A-Rod. With George Steinbrenner. I'd sit in his box, just the two of us. He would never have anybody but me. He liked me, right? He liked me, and he liked you. He liked almost nobody. It would be a World Series when baseball was hot. It's not as hot now, I'll be honest with you. They do things wrong. But when baseball was hot as a pistol with George, and I'd sit and I'd watch the Yankees, and he'd have 30 seats, and it would just be me and him. And I said to A-Rod, would say, what was the most difficult thing you've ever done? I said, it's probably sitting for 3 hours with George Steinbrenner watching a Yankee playoff game or World Series game. You know what I mean by that. He was a difficult guy, but he was great, right? He liked me, I liked him, and we both liked nobody else. And that was a good combination. But I have to say this. So I've seen a lot of great players come into the world of sports, and they came in from all different countries, all different players. They've come, in some cases, just from different states. They come to the Yankees, or they come to the Dodgers, or they come to whatever. But I've seen them come in from other countries, and there's such a clamor. Oh, so great, everything's great. But they don't win. This guy won. He came in, there was tremendous fanfare, and he won. You know, right? But it's true, they don't win. They come in and, you know, they're great players, and they can even play okay, but they don't win. And Leo, you came in and you won, and that's something very hard to do, very unusual. And frankly, there's a lot more pressure put on you than anyone would know, because, you know, you're sort of expected to win, but almost nobody wins. They come in, they're great, they're the best in the world, they get paid a fortune. You came in and you won with all that pressure. That's an amazing tribute, so congratulations. Right? But in that moment, you sealed a truly historic Inter-Miami victory. And think of that, first club ever, North America, to top the so-called European clubs. Pretty amazing thing to do. Returning to the MLS, Inter-Miami built on that incredible momentum, playing a record number of games and scoring a total of 101 goals, the most in MLS history. Is that correct, Mr. Commissioner? Well, that's pretty good. How's Andrew? Is Andrew treating you okay? He's a good golfer, too, actually. People don't know it. He's a very good golfer, right, Andrew? But Trump's a good golfer, too, Andrew. Thank you. With 29 goals in the regular season alone, Leo won the prize Golden Boot, becoming the first player to be named the league MVP twice in a row. Amazing, you know, comes in, a lot of great players. Pretty amazing thing to do, very hard to do. Exploding into the playoffs, this team racked up a series of statement wins, big wins, that frankly wins that a lot of people didn't think they could do. You secured a 3-1 must-win victory over Nashville SC. You thrashed FC Cincinnati 4-0 on the road. And then you routed New York City FC 5-1, led by a hat trick from young star Tadeo Allende. Where is Tadeo? Yes, what a group of people. We could have a lot of fun with these guys. You can imagine when they win how they celebrate. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about it. In that MLS Cup final against the Vancouver Whitecaps, the entire team played together as one flawless unit. Just flawless, they say. After Vancouver tied the game 1-1, Leo picked the pocket of a Whitecap defender and sent a pass to the great Rodrigo de Paul. Where the hell is Rodrigo? Do you have any bad-looking players? You know? I like the bad-looking guys much better. Who stuck a low-driving shot into the side net, taking the lead. And then in the 6th extra minute of stoppage time. Tadeo drove home your third and final goal, making the score 3-1 and securing your status as the first champions in club history. What an amazing accomplishment. Coach Mascherano became one of the few head coaches to win the MLS Cup Finals in his very first year, and Leo claimed the 47th trophy of his storied career. 47th, can you imagine that? The most of all time. That's the most of all time. So Leo is the reigning FIFA World Cup MVP. You could have gone anywhere in the world. You could have chosen any team in the world, and you chose to go to Miami. I don't blame you. The weather's extremely good. Do you go to Doral? You go to Doral and play golf? And I just want to thank you for bringing us all in this ride, because you are hot and talented and a great person. I look forward to seeing many of you on the summer. We're going to be out there in the summer in 2026 FIFA World Cup. And we have a lot of interesting things, because we have the World Cup and we have the Olympics, so we have the 250, and I was responsible for getting the Olympics in my first term, and I was responsible for getting with Johnny. We got the World Cup, and Johnny's a good man. Do we like Johnny? I think so, right? Like you say, yeah, I think so. He's a good guy, but they're setting records on the World Cup, setting absolute total. I guess many of you guys are going to be in it, but setting records on ticket sales, right? Numbers that, literally double what anyone's ever done before. So it's good. So they picked the right. But I thought that I didn't know that I'd be the president during this, because the election was rigged and stolen, and I had to do it all again. And then I said, hey, wait a minute. I just got soccer/football, and I just got the Olympics, and we got most important. I took credit for those two. Then I tried to take credit for 250 years, and it didn't play well at all with the press. But we're going to have an amazing year. But I just want to thank you so much, Horace, for the job you've done. I've known you for a while, and I've known of you for a long period of time. You are a spectacular man, and please say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You do tend to see a spike in oil prices. They tend to be pretty short-lived. Within the 6-month time frame, they come back down. So I think that's something to keep in mind. The second thing, Paul, is what is the pass-through from Brent or from WTI into U.S. Core inflation? It was a much bigger pass-through in the 1970s and 1980s. That's right. But over time, it's come down. So we just think there's a minimal amount of pass-through there to core inflation, which is the key metric I think the central bank will look at.
Yeah, I was out in California last week, and I paid like $5.25 a barrel. Yeah. I don't know what these people are doing.
That's a different animal out there.
You guys are a different animal out there, Jeffrey. That's why every other car...
Special formula.
Yeah, exactly. That's why every other car was a Tesla. Jeffrey, thanks so much for joining us. Jeffrey Cleveland, he's the chief economist at Payton & Regal. They're based out there in Los Angeles. So yeah, that's a kind of a big deal out there. So, but again, I think, you're looking at some of these energy prices just surging here, continuing their surge again. Brent crude up about 7% here, $91.20. WTI up almost 10% today, or almost $8, just below, right around $89 per barrel. And again, we were at $57 a barrel just a few months ago. So a big surge in energy prices.
Yeah, now we're talking about what, $100 oil?
Yeah,
and the implications.
Yeah,
for that,
and I think we talked to Mike McGlone, a Bloomberg intelligence strategist, commodity strategist. And he said, yeah, this is the premium, this is the Iran premium, and as quickly as it went in, it can come right back out when and if this thing calms down. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. But again, the sell-off in the market today, that has pretty much been the tone for most of the week. We did have one up day, so stay on top of these markets for you. Coming up, we're going to check in with Dan Ives, a global head of technology research and Wedbush Securities, get his thoughts on some of these tech names. The NASDAQ's actually been doing a little bit better than the S&P here in the last several days. So we'll see if that rotation trade out of tech or out of growth into value is still a call. This is Bloomberg. Good morning.
Yeah, chat. Appreciate y'all for joining, man. It's a lot going on this morning. Also, they got the Jesse Jackson funeral going on. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for joining. I'm your host, the one on the Stock Sniper. And if you don't know, the jobs report came in. Shocking numbers on that jobs report. We lost 92,000 jobs February. So we got to take that into consideration as everybody getting their tax returns. Make sure you're holding on to your tax return. Make sure you saving it. Make sure you stacking money and acting broke, especially if you know, starting from the bottom. You can't just go out and start splurging with that tax money. You got to hold on to it because you never know what's going on next. We never know, chat. With this war going on, you have to be really, 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 really careful on what's going on. You got to stay in tune to what's going on as this war escalates. And it's escalating fast. And that's what we got to understand. The streaming service, man, I was kind of not used to all these buttons that they moved around. So I'm trying to get that together too, chat. So bear with me as I'm trying to get my muscle memory down on this streaming service changes. It's not difficult, but they just moved a lot of things. I've been using the streaming service for about a little over a year. So I'm trying to get used to the upgrade. It's a good upgrade. You don't get me wrong, but I'm used to muscle memory and just clicking on this, clicking on that, clicking on this, clicking on that. Now everything has changed, and I got to get used to that all over again. It's all good though. Change is always good, you know. Change is always good, especially when it's for the better. So that's what we got to understand. So what's up, chat? How y'all doing? Sometimes a little pain is necessary for growth. Yeah, that's right, Bronson. We'll be better on the other side. Yeah, so we hoping. Hope so. We'll be better on the other side. Yeah. Like, share, subscribe. What's up to Don? Magna's still waiting on those tariff checks. I don't think those tariff checks are coming, Rubber Chicken. I really don't. Not right now, anyway. And the reason why I think that is because that judge rejected those tariffs, and I think that the money that they collected, I think it's in litigation. So we might not be seeing those tariff checks. I ain't gonna even, those dividend checks maybe in a while, especially with this war going on. So, but then you never know, you know. I earned my check. One liner comment, politicians, no need for handout. Yes, Zaza, tell that to the parents of the over 180 dead girls. A little pain is necessary for growth, except when the rich are purposely killing the middle class, making people even poorer while they stealing our hard-earned tax dollars for them. I'm glad you brought that up. I got something else. There's so much going on, chat, that we got to react to. I'm glad you brought that up. See, that's why I love the chat. Basically, what's been going on, it took my mind off of what I had for the show today. Let me see. Let me get over here. Bear with me, chat. Let's see. Where are you at? Okay. This is where we're going to go now, chat. Hold up. A lot of people are saying this right here is the reason why Kristi Noem got ousted out as Department of Homeland Security Secretary. That this is the reason right now, right here. And we're going to react to this about this. This is when he calls her out about the tax money that they're using for elections and stuff like that. So let's react to this. They're saying that this is the reason why Noam was fired.
Over $100 million.
No, sir, I have a policy in place that I review contracts. My deputy chiefs have the ability to review anything under 5 million. Above that, I evaluate and look at.
Okay. And you do that, I understand, to try to curb waste and abuse of taxpayer money. Is that right?
Yes, sir. In fact, it's been extremely effective. We've saved the taxpayers over $13.2 billion just by evaluating contracts, negotiating lower ones, and canceling ones that aren't necessary to do our duties.
How do you square that concern for waste, which I share, with the fact that you have spent $220 million running television advertisements that feature you prominently?
Sir, the president tasked me with getting the message out to the country and to other countries where we were seeing the invasion come from, with putting commercials out that told them that if they were in this country illegally, that they needed to leave, or we would detain them and remove them, and they'd not get the chance to come back to America the right way. That has been extremely effective.
Ask you to run these advertisements, is that right?
We had that conversation, yes, before I was put in this position and sworn in and confirmed, and since then as well.
Okay. Did you bid out those service contracts?
Yes, they did. They went out to a competitive bid, and career officials at the department chose who would do those advertising commercials.
And the people that you ended up picking were people who had formerly done your political work back in South Dakota, is that right?
No, that's not correct, sir.
I think it is.
No, it's not, sir. The individuals who, I believe the careers who they chose were two different media firms. There's been conversation about their subcontractors, but we have no legal authority to look into subcontractors on work like that.
Okay. And you're saying that you're testifying that President Trump approved this ahead of time? Is that my understanding?
We had conversations about making sure that we were telling people.
No, ma'am. I'm asking you, sorry to interrupt, but the president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it
Did the
correctly,
president
worked
know
with
you were going to do
OMB.
this?
Yes,
He did?
yes.
Okay.
And one thing, Senator, I think would be helpful to know is how effective that communications has been. That
Well, they were
overwhelmingly.
effective in your name recognition. I mean, I personally just, I mean, to me, it puts the president in a terribly awkward spot. And I'm not saying you're not telling the truth. It's just hard for me to believe, knowing the president, as I do, that you said, Mr. President, here's some ads I've cut, and I'm going to spend $220 million running them, that he would have agreed to that. I don't think Russ Vogt at OMB would have agreed to that. It's something we have to defend. I'm on the Appropriations Committee. My research shows that you did not bid them out, that you pick, in fact, one of the people you picked, the strategy group, Safe America Media was a company formed 11 days before you picked them, and that the strategy group got most of the money, and the head of that is married to your former spokesperson. Look, we all have friends who are qualified. I'm not quibbling with that. It troubles me. A fifth to a quarter of $1 billion of taxpayer money when we're scratching for every penny and we're fighting over rescission packages I just can't agree with, Madam Secretary. Are you still running those ads?
No, Senator, I did not have anything to do with picking those contractors. I know politicals at the Department of Homeland Security did.
I understand. Are you
Career
still running
officials
those
followed the
ads?
competitive bid process for
Are you
that.
still running
Everything
those
was,
ads?
I think the ads are due to end here in March, I think within a week
So
or two.
they
I'm
are
not sure of the
still running?
update. The one that is running is focusing on angel families. Have you seen that? It is the one that's talking about this is our why. This is why we work every day.
Okay.
Is for the angel
I've gotta
families
move
and their
on.
victims that need to.
Let me ask you about a different subject, and that is the waste of resources at your agency, the continued allegations of favoritism and contracting. And let me in particular focus on the $220 million ad campaign, many of which feature you very prominently. An ad campaign that is more expensive than the whole budget for One Fight After Another or any Hollywood blockbuster film. So let me ask you, you said that the president approved this vast expenditure on a media campaign that largely profiles you. How do you know that? Did he approve it to you personally?
This media campaign was critical in telling the world
No,
and
I'm
this
asking about the
country
president's
that
approval.
we are enforcing the laws in the
I-
United States of
you
America.
testified
That if you're in
earlier
your
in answer
country
to-
illegally,
You testified
then you
earlier in
should
answer to
leave
Senator Kennedy's question. The
now,
president
or if you want the chance to come back to the United
So my
States
question is,
someday in
how
the
do you
future.
know-
If you don't, you will be
do you
detained
know-
and will
excuse
be
me,
removed and never get the
Madam
chance to come
Secretary,
back.
how
It's
do you
been
know that
extremely
the
effective in
president-
sending the
Excuse me, Madam
message.
Secretary, how do you know the president approved of this $220 million contract?
We had conversations and worked with OMB to
So you had
make sure that
conversations
the
directly
funding
with the
was there.
president. Excuse me, I just want to clarify. So you had conversations directly with the president where he approved this $220 million ad campaign that significantly features you. Is that
Sir,
correct?
this campaign was talking about making sure that people knew that our laws were being enforced.
Again, I want to make sure that
We
we're not
continue to go through the
misunderstanding each
process.
other.
It was a competitive
president
bid
approved-
campaign.
excuse
I
me.
had nothing of choosing.
Excuse me, so the president approved this expenditure?
Sir, I've been explaining this to you, how it, when it was a competitive process,
Well,
the
okay,
career
you say it was
officials at the
competitive process.
Department of
I guess
Homeland Security
you don't want to
chose the
confirm the
best.
president's role in this, and I can understand why. But you say it was a competitive process, and yet this contract went to a company that didn't exist 2 weeks before they got the contract.
Sir, I can't speak
And-
to that. I don't
No,
know the name of that company.
You're
I'm sure
saying you
that
can't speak to it, but let me ask you this. Are you saying it's just a coincidence? It's just a happy circumstance? It's just a
saying that-
a fortuitous event that 143 million of that went to a subcontractor that you worked with extensively as governor in South Dakota or during your campaign, that is just coincidental?
The same process was followed for this
So it's-
media
so it-
contract than any
so-
other
so
media
just a-
contract that's
just-
happened.
just a coincidence
At the
then.
Department of Homeland
And-
Security, I had
and-
nothing to do and no political
You
had
had
any.
nothing to do with it, nothing
no
to do with it. So
choosing of who the
just a
contractors.
coincidence-
And we don't
excuse
have a
me,
legal process for
just a
weighing in on
coincidence
subcontractors.
also-
It doesn't exist.
Excuse me, just a coincidence also then that this $143
To ask
million
questions, you should want
excuse me,
the answers.
I'm trying to ask a question.
You're trying to
So
say that this
just-
was a political
just-
decision and it
just
absolutely
another-
was not.
I'm just asking you. So it's just a coincidence that a $143 million subcontract went to the husband of your press person, also someone that Corey Lewandowski, one of your special government employees, worked with extensively. So that was all a coincidence, right? Because you had no knowledge of this, no
Media
involvement.
company that
and none
gets
of the
the
people around you
contract,
had any involvement.
the ability to
So
choose the
taxpayers should just
subcontractors.
assume
We don't
this is
weigh
a
in
coincidence.
on who subcontractors are. There's not a legal process for us to determine what subcontractors are a part of a contract
So can
that
you-
goes out
can
for a
you
competitive
state-
bid.
can you state
And
for the
only
record-
career employees at
excuse me,
DHS were in on the
Can
choosing
you
of
state
those
for
media
the record
contracts.
then that neither you nor Mr. Lewandowski nor your press secretary married to the husband of the person who got this $143 million
We were not
contract,
a part of the
Can you state for the
decision-making.
record that none of you that I've just described had any role, played any part, made any communication with any government agency that was involved in deciding who would get that contract?
To the best of my knowledge, none of us were involved in deciding who got those contracts
Not
for
in
the media
deciding, but
campaign.
were any of you involved in advocating, communicating, or expressing a
Not to
preference
my knowledge,
in any
Senator,
way
not to
with
my
the government?
knowledge,
Excuse
Senator.
me. Let me just finish the question. Were any of you involved in any way in communicating, expressing a preference in any form, manner, verbal, written, with any government agency that was involved in the contracting
The
process?
same process was followed for that contract that is
You're
for
not
all
answering
media
my question.
contracts that have gone forward. To my knowledge,
or no?
there was no involvement whatsoever of anybody that is on the political appointee side of this position and that media contract.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
I want to move on to the use of department resources. Senator Kennedy asked a number of questions about this contract, $220 million. Senator Schiff asked about it as well, and I do too. I don't want to question what the purpose was, but how the award was made. This is $220 million. It was an advertising campaign, as I understand it, that featured you and you on a horse at Mount Rushmore. The contract was a no-bid contract. You acknowledge that?
I wasn't involved with this contracting process, so my understanding is
Asking
that
if
there
you're
was
involved.
many
I'm asking
companies
if
that
it's a
competed for
no-bid
this contract.
The answer to that is yes or no.
I don't believe it was. I believe other
All right,
companies
I-
competed for
I
this
have
because
here-
there was two different vendors
Madam
that were
Secretary,
chosen.
I have here a document from usspending.gov. And this document specifically states the justification for no bid contract that goes to Safe America Media and People Who Think. Those are the two entities that did the campaign, correct?
I believe it is. I wasn't a part of this
All right,
contracting process.
let's get
so-
serious here.
Yes.
Okay? Make the Safe America was incorporated 11 days or 7 days by my count before they got an award of $143 million. You have any dispute with that?
Are you talking about the subcontractor on that contract?
No.
Because we
Safe
have,
America.
Senator, I wasn't a part of this decision.
Okay.
We followed the same processes
Madam
that have been
Secretary,
our policies and
I'll
how
go
these
through
are
this,
was
and then you
conducted
can answer.
appropriately.
I will go through this and then you can answer. I don't want us to be talking over each other. Safe America was incorporated 11 days or 7 days by my account before they got a $143 million contract. Now, as a administrator who has fiscal responsibility over a huge budget, do you realistically think that a company that was created 11 days before they got $143 million is in a position to execute on a $143 million contract?
Senator, I can't speak to their business model. I will tell you that since I've been at the department, I have reviewed over 10,000 contracts. I
let
have
me keep
saved the
going through this.
taxpayers
I don't
over
want to filibuster.
$13
I
billion
want to go through this,
by
Madam Secretary.
renegotiating contracts and being more efficient.
Mr. Chairman, I don't want the filibuster. All right? And I want my time back. I'm not denying her a chance to answer. I'm asking you to deny her the abuse to filibuster. Okay.
Of that.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'll go through this. All right. This is on a U.S. government website that says that contract for $143 million was a no-bid contract. Public documentation says the contract of $143 million went to the Safe America company, created 11 days before they got an award. That company then subcontracted with the strategy group, and you are familiar with many of the principals in the strategy group, correct?
I know one of them,
Mr. Yoho.
yes.
And let me show you a photograph. That's Mr. Yoho standing next to you, correct?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Yoho is also the husband of your former spokesperson. Is that correct?
Correct.
Tricia McLaughlin.
Yes.
So your former assistant secretary and her husband are the ones that got the subcontract from Safe America, or from Safe America. That's what the record shows. Any dispute about that?
No, except there was no politicals, myself or anyone else besides career employees who were a part of that process.
Except
for putting out those
Well,
contracts and
that's
choosing those
generous.
vendors.
But what you have is the Republican operative.
Well, you're trying to insinuate that
I'm not
I put
insinuating.
my-
I'm
Yes,
stating
you're-
a fact. The fact is
You're saying that I
Mr.
weighed in on this
Yoho-
contracting process, and I did not.
Mr. Chairman, the fact is that Mr. Yoho was married to your assistant secretary, is married, correct?
Yes, they are still married.
All right. And Mr. Yoho also ran an ad campaign for you in your gubernatorial campaign, correct?
Yes,
And he also attended your inauguration.
yes,
And Mr. Yoho received $8.5 million, or his company did, from the taxpayers of South Dakota when you ran an ad promotion showing you doing various jobs, like a plumber and a dentist, correct?
Again, that was done according to the law and processes at the state of South
I
Dakota.
understand, but
Yes,
this
well-
is a person that worked on your campaign. This is a person that worked on your media plan in South Dakota when you were governor. And this is a person who also worked on your memoir. Is that correct?
On my memoir?
And he worked with Mr. Lewandowski. Is that correct?
I don't know, sir. I don't know about the business
Mr.
arrangements they've had in the
Lewandowski
past.
is your special advisor.
Special government employee.
Right.
For the White
And
House.
Mr. Lewandowski brought Mr. Yoho into your camp. They had worked on the Louisiana governor's campaign, correct?
No, I knew Ben Yoho before that.
All right. So the person that you knew, Mr. Yoho, the husband of your assistant secretary, is the person in the company that got the subcontract 11 days after this original company, Safe America, was founded. That's the record. So I have a question. Did Mr. Lewandowski receive any compensation directly or indirectly from Safe America or from the strategy group?
Senator, I don't have any information to that. I can't speak to that.
Would that be of interest
think so.
for you to find out?
Sure.
Well, so will you ask Mr. Lewandowski, did he get any compensation directly or indirectly from these contracts?
Are you asking me to go ask him?
Yes, I am. Ask your special government advisor,
I can do that.
and you'll get back to us.
Get back to you. Yes,
All right,
absolutely.
we will want that.
Let me ask you about a different subject, and that is the waste of resources at your agency, the continued allegations of favoritism and contracting, and let me in particular focus on the $220 million ad campaign, many of which feature you very prominently. An ad campaign that is more expensive than the whole budget for One Fight After Another or any Hollywood blockbuster film. So let me ask you, you said that the president approved this vast expenditure on a media campaign that largely profiles you. How do you know that? Did he approve it to you personally?
This media campaign was critical in telling the world
No,
and
I'm
this
asking about the
country
president's
that
approval.
we are enforcing the laws in the
I-
United States of
you
America.
testified
That if you're in
earlier in
your
answer
country
to-
illegally,
You testified
then you
earlier in
should
answer to
leave
Senator Kennedy's question. The
now,
president
or if you want the
approved-
chance to come back to the United
So my
States
question is,
someday in
how
the
do you
future.
know-
If you don't, you will be
do you
detained
know-
and
excuse
will be
me,
removed and never get the
Madam
chance to come
Secretary?
back.
How
It's
do
been
you know that
extremely
the
effective in
president-
sending the
Excuse me, Madam
message.
Secretary, how do you know the president approved of this $220 million contract?
We had conversations and worked with OMB to
So you had
make sure that
conversations
the
directly
funding
with the
was there.
president. Excuse me, I just want to clarify. So you had conversations directly with the president where he approved this $220 million ad campaign that significantly features you. Is that
Sir,
correct?
this campaign was talking about making sure that people knew that our laws were being enforced.
Again, I want to make sure that
We
we're not
continue to go through the
misunderstanding each
process.
other.
It was a competitive
president approved-
bid campaign.
excuse
I
me.
had nothing of choosing.
Excuse me, so the president approved this expenditure?
Sir, I've been explaining this to you, how it, when it was a competitive process,
Well,
the
okay,
career
you say it was
officials at the
competitive process.
Department of
I guess
Homeland
you don't wanna-
Security
You don't want to
chose
confirm the
best
president's role in this, and I can understand why. But you say it was a competitive process, and yet this contract went to a company that didn't exist 2 weeks before they got the contract.
Sir, I can't speak to that. I don't know the name of that company.
You're saying you can't speak to it, but let me ask you this. Are you saying it's just a coincidence? It's just a happy circumstance? It's just a fortuitous event that 143 million of that went to a subcontractor that you worked with extensively as governor in South Dakota or during your campaign, that is just coincidental?
The same process was followed for this media contract and any other media contract that's happened.
Just a coincidence.
At the Department of Homeland Security, I had nothing to do, and no political
had any, nothing to do with it.
No choosing of who the contractors. And we don't have a legal process for weighing in on subcontractors. It doesn't exist.
Excuse me, just a coincidence also then that this $143
To ask
million.
questions, you should want the answers.
I'm trying to ask a question.
You're trying to say that this was a political decision, and it absolutely was not.
I'm just asking you. So it's just a coincidence that a $143 million subcontract went to the husband of your press person, also someone that Corey Lewandowski, one of your special government employees, worked with extensively. So that was all a coincidence, right? Because you had no knowledge of this, no involvement.
Media company that
and none of
gets
the
the
people around you had any involvement.
The ability to
so
choose the
taxpayers should just
subcontractors.
assume
We don't
this
weigh
is a
in
coincidence.
on who subcontractors are. There's not a legal process for us to determine what subcontractors are a part of a contract
So can
that
you-
goes out
can
for a
you
competitive
state-
bid.
can you state
And
for the
only
record-
career employees at
excuse me,
DHS were in on the
Can you
choosing of
state
those
for
media
the record
contracts.
then that neither you nor Mr. Lewandowski nor your press secretary married to the husband of the person who got this $143 million
We were not
contract.
a part of the
Can you state for the
decision-making.
record that none of you that I've just described had any role, played any part, made any communication with any government agency that was involved in deciding who would get that contract?
To the best of my knowledge, none of us were involved in deciding who got those contracts for the media
Undeciding, but
campaign.
were any of you involved in advocating, communicating, or expressing a
Not to
preference
my knowledge,
in any
Senator,
way
not to
with
my
the government?
knowledge,
Excuse
Senator.
me. Let me just finish the question. Were any of you involved in any way in communicating, expressing a preference in any form, manner, verbal, written, with any government agency?
Woo! That got heated. That got heated, chat. Yeah, that got heated. We got 341 people in the building. I'd like to thank all y'all for joining right now, man. It got heated. There's a lot going on this morning. Jobs report came out. 92,000 jobs lost. Iran and the Iran war is heating up. Gas prices surge. Man, it's a lot going on, chat. It's a lot going on. But I think I'm going to end it right here, because if not, I'll be here all day. I ain't going to even much lie about it. I'll be here all day long, chat, with all this news that's going on today. But guess what? We will be going live later. So at this time, we need everybody, 341 people in the building. Hit the subscribe button and cut on all post notification bells. Wait, hold up. We got to give. That's one thing I don't like about this streaming service, chat, is that, dang, that's one thing I don't like about the streaming service. Whoever sent the gift, give. Julia Thompson, thank you for sending the gift. That's one thing I don't like about the streaming service. I can't see the gifts. I have to have the YouTube channel up on another phone, but I got my other computer. I got my other computer on the stock market. So that's the reason why I'm not on the channel. And on the streaming service, I can't see the gifts. So it's Julia Thompson, thanks for the gift. You are a supporter of the channel. You are a sponsor of the channel. And we love and we appreciate you. You're an amazing person for sending the gift. And we love and we appreciate you. So with that being said, chat, we're going to end it right here. I'll be here all day long. And we can't do that. So with that being said, chat, I love and I appreciate y'all. Everybody that's been coming and rocking with the channel, we love and I appreciate y'all. With that being said, make sure, chat, if you're getting income tax returns, make sure you hold on to your money. Please hold on. Make sure you stack your refrigerators. Make sure you got everything ready to rock and roll, because you never know what's going to happen and how this war is going to escalate. But you want to stay tuned with the Stock Sniper TV, because we're going to let it out there. And guess what? A lot of people in the chat understands what's going on. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and cut on the notification bell so you'll know when we're live. So with that being said, chat, I love and I appreciate y'all. To the next one. I'm out, chat. Love y'all, chat.